In this video, we're going to make a leather logo layout in Kittl using typography, and then I'm going to show you what that would look like engraved in some leather. This is going to be super easy to do. I'm going to show you a couple of different options for type layouts and how easy it is to manipulate with Kittl, so let's dive right in. All right, we're going to hit the T button to add some text, and then we're going to type in the name of our leather company, which is Bronze. I know is very fitting, and so this is going to be the text we work with. However, let's go choose a different font, and right now we're going to use a sans serif font. I absolutely love our heritage type modern hand sans that's already right here in Kittl ready for use because it's a variable font. So I'm going to increase the width to an area where I feel like looks pretty good. I want it to be obviously not super thick, but something that's going to at least have some weight to it when it's embossed in something. And I'm going to show you how I embossed this like with a leather mock-up here in a little bit. So now I've given it some letter spacing. I've made sure it's centered right there in the board, and then I'm going to give this a little bit more weight. So 45 I think feels just about right. And so when we have our main text figured out, all we need to do is hold the Alt or Option key, drag down to duplicate our text, and this is going to be the start of our subtext. So what I'm going to do is type in 75, so this is going to be a great deal smaller. However, we're going to put some text in here, leather workers. Okay, so this is going to take up quite a bit of space. When I click out, boom, you can see it takes up a nice about a third or so space left on the left and right there. So this takes up, excuse me, about 2/3 of the total length of the word there. Then I'm going to do the same thing. So I feel like 55 is pretty good because this word is going to be Austin, Texas, or words rather. So Austin, and then I'm going to put a little dash there, and then Texas. So boom, now I've got these three here. They're all centered. Make sure, just double check they're all centered right here. And then I can grab all of them. I'm going to hit the tidy tool just to make sure they're all equal distance apart. And now we have this kind of upside down triangle happening. So I'm going to duplicate this text, bring it to the top, and now we're going to put only full grain leather because that is all we want for this company. That's all they work with is full grain. It's very high quality leather. And so then with the circle transformation, I can make this a little bit more stretched out or more condensed here. And I feel like somewhere around here is nice because I want it to kind of go towards the gap of the B and the R and the Z and the E, as you can see. And we can just nudge it a little bit up or down depending on where we want it to go. Make sure everything is centered, of course. And now we're going to fill in that little gap here with text. I'm going to bring this down to 40. And because we're going to put the ESTD, the established date here, so we're going to put 2023, of course. Then I'm going to duplicate this again to bring one line underneath, and then this is going to be aniline and pigmented. And so basically what that is that kind of outer dye shield that makes it you know, really wearable. Basically, it doesn't wear out easily. It's very strong leather. And so just a little bit of details, just thinking about what can go in your logo in terms of subtext. And so now what I'm going to do is move this up to where I think it fits pretty nicely inside this little archway that I've created over the word bronze. And then to make sure everything is equal distance, we want the top and the bottom here, right here, to be the same. So I'm going to grab all of this text from the top to the bottom, so these four. Now that I have these selected, I'm going to hit tidy. So now all of the space in between is correct. Now if I grab all of them, watch what happens. So this is also fine. So I grabbed all of them. I'm going to hit tidy. So now everything is equal distance apart. However, I want the top two to be a little closer here. So I click Command Z to go back because I want those to be just a little bit closer together like this. And then I'm going to do a little bit of fine tweaking. So now I feel like we have a good place to start with. I'm going to grab everything, hit Command G, Command or Control G. That creates a group. Then I'm going to double click in and name my group. So now I've named my group the logo, so that way I don't get confused if I add more layers. Hey, real quick, if you're getting value out of this leather logo tutorial, let me know by hitting that thumbs up button, and then let me know in the comments, are you working on leather items? Maybe you're making like tags or keychains, or maybe you're even making like purses or briefcases or something like that. Or are you just looking for this style of logo for something else? Maybe more of a vintage style, like for a brewery or something like that. I'm super curious to know, so comment below and let's get back to the tutorial. So now we can start thinking about color. So I'm looking for a obviously brownish bronze color, and so that's what we're gonna find. So let's go towards the kind of like muddy orangey brown color over here, something like that. Yeah, something around here I think is gonna work fine. So now we can select the background, and I'm thinking a much, you know, higher, brighter yellow, kind of pastel-y, muted yellow or something like that. That gives the effect of like a super worn out piece of paper, like a manila piece of paper. Now, once we have our colors figured out, I think what might be nice is a little illustration to go along with this, a little, you know, a little leather hat or something like that. And of course, you could fill in the area where I have established 2023. You could fill that in with an illustration. You see all these little hats right here. But I'm thinking more of a silhouette that can kind of go behind. But let's keep on scrolling down. And there are a couple of really, really nice silhouettes. There's also silhouettes of actual whole scenes going on, like this one right here. So if I click this one, I can bring it down right here. And so you could create kind of a cool little maybe social media graphic or ad or something like that. And there's a lot of really, really good silhouettes. But let's find one. Ooh, let's find this one right here. It looks really nice. Let's check this out. So this one's looking pretty good. Let's turn it around so I can right click and flip, because I want this to kind of come out of the side of the page here. So let's take off the space, because I want that space to be the color of the background, and then we'll change the color of the illustration to the brown. And then I'm going to size this up really big, because like I said, I want it to come out of the side. I want it to come out of the left of the page right here. I'm going to send it to the back. Okay, and then I'm going to decrease the opacity. It's a pretty old trick that you can pretty much make a really nice kind of depth effect here. I'm going to give it 20%. I think that looks fine. You can still see it. It's not meant to be really, really intense. You know, obviously the logo is front and center here. I'm just adding just a little bit of interest to this logo design. I don't like how the face or the mouth is kind of behind the B and in between the R there. I think, and let's try this silhouette. So I typed in leather hat, and it's showing hats and people wearing hats. So this is obviously in the same vein of illustration. It's just a different illustration of a woman wearing a hat. And I like how the top of the face is shielded. It's a little bit more simplified, right? So a little bit less detail. So let's go through the same process. I'm going to make sure that the detail, the highlight color is just turned off. I'm going to make it transparent. So I think this one's going to work a lot better. Yeah, I think this is going to work a lot better once I make it look like it's coming out of the side. Let's size it up just a little bit. Bring it up. Okay, so now you can see the face just a little bit better. Give this 20%. Yeah, and so now I think this one just works a little bit better. You can see a little bit more of the face, and it's not as detailed, so it fits nicely in the background, just as a little bit of visual interest there behind. What I like to do now, before I go to the mockup generator, is I like to add a circle. And what I'm going to do with the circle is I'm going to make this circle the background color, okay? So let's make it that color. So now, when I select the background and turn it off to go to mockups, even though I turn it off, you can still see the yellow. So you can come back to your work and turn the background back on. So let's hide the illustration. So now we just have our text. Then I can click mockup, and that's going to take us to the mockup generator. Then what I'm looking for specifically is a card. So if we scroll down to the bottom, we have some cards, some business card mock-ups that you might want to use to showcase your design, or if you're doing a design for a client or something. I think this one's really nice. It's really moody. I like the aesthetic of it. I can bring this up, so maybe this is the front of the business card. So then I will look for that same kind of bright muted yellow tint here, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, I did take this a step further and actually do a mock-up in Photoshop of what it would look like right here. As you can see that it's embossed. So maybe if you're making tags or something, if you're actually a leather brand, or if you did a project for a leather brand, they're kind of like branding their tags, their leather tags or products with an emboss like this. So that's just a way to see how you can make a leather logo very easily in Kittl. Now, if you want to see other tutorials using Kittl, I have these videos here on my right that I know you're going to enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos and features and things like that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.